Alright, now where is SSNN again? I'm not sure, but we can always take the knot to the appropriate station.
If you have a news story for me, I'm very happy to pay your fee.
What stories are you working on right now?
I'm working on an investigative piece about some of the businesses in the well right now. Trying to get a handle on how things are in that part of the city. I'm not sure the story will get off the ground, though. I asked the higher-ups if I could go down there for some interviews, but they said it's too dangerous. They'd probably be all for it if David asked.
Well, I mean, I'd be willing to do the interviews for you at some point if I can work it into my schedule.
Would you really? I'd owe you big time if you did. You've been a huge help on my other stories. I'm sure you'd do great.
Well, as I said, when I have time to get to it, if you haven't already taken care of it by then.
Great. I had 3 interviewees in mind. Teresa Mason, the owner of Kay's house, Henrik Zoran at Apex Electronics, and Nurse O'Shea from the medbay. You don't need to ask too many tough questions. I just want to read on how their businesses are doing, and how things are in the well. I really can't thank you enough.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself, Nadia. Like I said, when I have a chance.
Administrations come and go in the big city, but SSNN is here to stay. Can I help you?
Yes, everything on this slate is true, and the settled systems need to know about it.
Is that so? Spoken like a true tabloid reporter. What's this so-called story about?
Corporate corruption at its highest. Actually, no. Find out for yourself. The details are all in this slate.
All right. I'll take a look. I don't suppose you want to tell me how you got this evidence.
I can't reveal my sources. I'm sure as a reporter you understand that.
Of course. I just hope your source is as reliable as you think they are. Is there at least a name I can cite as my source?
Just a concerned citizen.
Why am I not surprised? As long as the evidence is adequate and verifiable, I expect it'll be aired within the hour, if not sooner. Now, if you'll excuse me, I obviously have some work to do.
That quick, eh? Alright.
There's a loophole. You just have to register as a shipping service and not a transport craft. I'm thinking I should just do that.
That sounds great.
Ow. I certainly didn't need to get down here. Alright. I can access the train from beneath it. Fantastic. Mast District. I need to fetch Sarah before we go back to Neon. Although I don't want to take her into the meeting with me, of course, but... I don't necessarily plan on coming back to New Atlantis after whatever happens. Because once this is resolved, then it's back to Vanguard business.
Someday I'll be running the office of interstellar affairs.
Good luck with that. I've gotten turned around. Perhaps we should get married before we go after the Terramorphs.
What's the word for that again? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Sarah, my dear.
Back, eh? How's it going?
Pretty good. Let's get moving.
Lead the way.
Let's head back to Neon Core.
We should stick to the main plaza. Unless you like getting soaked by the rain.
Depending on my mood, I do sometimes enjoy getting soaked by the rain. Oh, well, I'm here.
some excellent weapons on sale today.
Yes, I'd like to see what you're selling, please.
Sure thing. Let me know if anything appeals to you.
Yes, I'll take this modified Nova Blast Disruptor, please. With the long scope. Alright, thank you very much.
Stay safe out there.
Oh, I suppose I should put things back on now. Let's see how this affects it right now. I'm carrying 83 out of 145. I'm carrying 69 out of 185. I love this spacesuit so much. Really would like to find a nice hat somewhere. Maybe a nicer mask. Oh, Sarah.
If I can help you with anything, just say the word.
I need you to wait down here, please.
Take your time.
Alright, thank you. Mission on 2 points. Out of curiosity, what is that other?
Keep out of my way and I'll keep out of yours.
Understood, sir. Oh, apparently I can track an activity at the same time as a quest. Interesting. I've returned, Madam CEO.
I've yet to hear anything of note on SSNN. Let's hear your report.
Not a single hitch. David Barron should be running the story any minute.
Good. David won't be able to resist a story like this. He'll do some preliminary confirmations, which will be enough to get the broadcast out to the public. And how did the NeuroAmp perform?
It was extremely useful.
I thought it would be. So now it's just a waiting game for SSNN to break the news. Once the story airs, we have another board meeting scheduled to decide how to handle Infinity. Go ahead, Maeve.
The SSNN broadcast has started. Shall I patch it through?
Yes, thank you.
Infinity Ltd. and Lucas Drexler are currently under investigation for a number of violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself and the competitor have yet to be confirmed. This has been David Barron for SSNN.
Perfect. This exposure puts Infinity right where we want them. The meeting will begin momentarily, but I want you to discuss the options we have with the other members. Infinity's net worth is about to hit rock bottom, so this gives us the opportunity to win a little more public faith.
Ryujin buys Infinity Ltd. And no one loses their job?
Quite right. The truth is, we'll be making evaluations. We'll shed any employees who don't make the cut, slowly but surely.
Well, naturally.
By incorporating Infinity, we eliminate a competitor, get their best employees and contracts, and all while boosting our public perception.
Sounds like a win-win situation to me.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Which is why I'd like you to talk to the board to convince them this is the right move. There are several who might disagree, and you have the perfect tool to help sway them.
If they don't agree, I'll be sure to make them listen.
Good. You'll find most of the board members in their offices preparing. Vina is also here, waiting for the meeting to start. We'll need at least 50% of the vote to go our way. In the event of a tie, I will make the final decision. I trust you'll get it done.
That bonus. Wait, internal NeuroAmp prototype removed. What?
Did Masako send you to try and convince me to acquire Infinity Ltd? I think we both know that's not going to work.
If you acquired Infinity Ltd, it'd save jobs. It's good public perception.
Our public perception is good enough. If you ask me, reaching out to save Infinity just makes us look weak. The internal neuroamp gives us the power to crush our competitors, not take them under our wing. This is exactly why Masako's time as CEO is finished.
Yeah, Masako's a better CEO than you'll ever be.
I'll overlook your poorly educated statement. For now. Throwing your competitor a lifeline when they're about to crash and burn hardly seems wise.
They're not a connect. Listen to reason, Ularu. You know acquiring Infinity is the right choice.
Well, it does make Ryujin look good. And we do gain a wider customer base, which means higher profits. You're oddly right about this one, Op. I guess you are worth keeping around. As long as everyone has Ryujin's best interests in mind, this should make for an interesting meeting.
I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome.
You and me both. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot of preparations to make.
I'm glad we're making an effort in our appearance today.
Excuse me, Mr. Caldari.
Just the person I wanted to see. I want to get all the details locked down for this meeting, and I believe you to be one of the best sources available.
Good, I wanted to speak to you about the meeting as well.
An efficient exchange, then. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity Ltd throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? And why?
Of course, if we can save the jobs of thousands of people, we should do it.
Saving the jobs of thousands is altruistic, which is not a luxury corporations have. It's a financial burden. It would be a huge undertaking on my part.
We'd be getting employees on Infinity's cheaper salary numbers.
This is true. Infinity never had the financial resources to match our salary offers. Getting what few capable employees they have at half the salary we typically pay here could have major payoffs in the long run. Next question. What is your opinion on how Masako handled the mole situation?
We caught them all, so I'd say it was a success.
Any insight into what made it successful?
Masako remained cool and stuck to a plan. Prematurely releasing this information would only cause panic.
I agree. Should Masako had informed us too early, we may have all turned on each other. I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you, considering how helpful you've been.
Nothing I can think of. See you at the meeting.
This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time.
If operations starts to bore you, let
Hey,
me know.
Vina.
You make a perfect lab rat for the R&D team. And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope.
I feel great. No side effects as far as I can tell.
That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval. Genevieve is going to be so excited. So, tell me what you think of the neuroamp.
The internal neuroamp changes everything, Vina. You're going to be famous.
I'd be the next Ray DeCaris, my childhood hero and mentor. How amazing would that be? DeMarcus, eat your heart out. Don't tell him I said that. He knows I love and respect him. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be?
If we acquire them, it'll be fun to see how they tried to recreate your work.
Exactly. Not that I want to gloat over it. Maybe just a little. Okay, so DeMarcus and I have really been looking forward to it, so fingers crossed this deal goes through. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you in there.
Genevieve.
Is Masako checking up on me to make sure I'm on her side?
Maybe. That depends on whose side you're on.
Well, you can let Masako know to rest easy. It just so happens that her agenda lines up with mine. We just need to grab Infinity Ltd while it's got the public's full attention. I'm all about free PR, especially when it's painting us in a good light.
Coming to the rescue of all those innocent workers will really look good for us.
I'm sure I can squeeze enough goodwill out of this to last us at least a year.
We have bigger things to think about than Infinity Ltd when it comes to the future.
Sounds like you've got a bit of your own agenda going on. Well, let's hear it.
The internal neuroamp is a game changer, but it needs strict guidance.
Don't I know it? I think Alexis and I are truly going to have our work cut out for one another. We'll discuss security ramifications with Dalton, and I'm sure there are alterations, safety nets, if you will, that we'll need from Vina. It's sure to be quite the undertaking. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk. Maybe I'll even consult you on future endeavors.
I would be honored.
So much work to do. If you need something, make it quick. I'd like to make sure my arguments are solid before this meeting.
Misako would really appreciate it if you could back her on acquiring Infinity Ltd.
Not much to discuss there. I believe I've made my case quite clear to Misako on why I am against it.
Legal issues aside, the pros of acquiring Infinity Ltd outweigh the cons.
All right, I could use the entertainment. Tell me why Infinity is a good asset.
Interesting. I've never seen an option from Commerce before. You can't tell me that negotiating an airtight deal doesn't appeal to you. Oh no, that's persuasion. Wait, which is the skill I'm already using? No. The business benefits far outweigh any legal issues, and credits are king.
When it comes to profit, I suppose all my arguments do fall short. Huh. Well, what do you know? I think you just convinced me. Talent like yours belongs in the courtroom.
Have you been preparing for having the internal neuroamp on the open market?
Unfortunately, half my department's been poring over documentation, while the other half is writing up what legal guidance they can.
The internal neuroamp would make handling any situation a breeze.
Are you trying to add to my stress right now? First off, if I find out you used that device on me, I will tie you up in court on whatever charges I can conjure for the rest of your life. Second, that tech is one major human rights violation that no legal team wants to fight. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely delayed or collects dust in storage.
Why dislike the internal neuroamp versus regular neuroamps?
Because the external neuroamps are built to help the user on a personal level. They aid in reason, communication, confidence, all things that can make the difference in a person's self-image. And yes, they can be abused, but that's why there are laws regarding improper usage.
Well, with proper legal guidance, the applications for the internal neuroamp are endless.
In an ideal situation, yes. And I suppose creating that ideal situation is within my power. Now you've made it sound like a proper challenge that I can't help but accept. Misako is lucky to have you at her disposal, you know? You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal neuroamp, that Ryujin has. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get back to my notes.
Thank you very much for your words of confidence. If you could remember what you said about me if and when the subject of a possible promotion comes up, I would most appreciate it. And that just leaves Dalton.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting.
That
I
it should.
Misako briefed you on her preferred outcome.
Of course, I'm the one she's trusting to make things happen.
That's because you're the one with the tool to do it. As long as Misako has the internal neuroamp on her side, she can't lose. If it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk, and look what happened.
Project Dominion is essential to future success. It has risks, but nothing you can't handle.
I suppose you're right. As long as I'm fully aware of the risks, I can properly account for them. My first priority will be to get the board and all security members set up with shielding as soon as possible. Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity Ltd, we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new neuroamp might cause.
The acquisition is worth the work. I know your team can handle it.
I imagine we're looking at months of work. Infinity Ltd is obviously not known for their security. I only hope that Misako and the others will be patient with the process. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to make. We'll be announcing Ularu's termination of employment at this meeting, so I need to have security ready to escort her off the premises.
Can't we just liquidate her? I mean,
Ooh, look at that. Your surgical wound's healing like a dream.
If only there were more hours in the day.
Oh, I get to sit in on this one. I'm not a board member, but there we go.
All right, everyone. As you all know, we've successfully exposed Infinity Ltd's botched human trials and murder for hire through SSNN. The public is demanding their leadership, namely Lucas Drexler, face trial, and he's probably writing his resignation as we speak. Ryujin will be launching a statement, but I believe now is the perfect time to acquire Infinity Ltd.
Indeed, we should act now before a competitor beats us to it.
Believe it or not, I agree. The acquisition has risks, and it's going to create a lot of work for all of us. But the overall payoff will be worth it.
That and Infinity Ltd's current situation makes them more affordable than ever.
Arguments? None? Excellent. Moving on, then.
I think what we're all overlooking is what led us to this situation to begin with. Yes, our security was compromised. But considering Dalton was hired by Misako, the issue obviously starts at the top. In fact, I propose that Misako be removed from CEO altogether.
Ularu, this isn't a line you want to cross.
And considering you're the mole, if anyone's going to be removed from power, it's going to be you.
Hold up. Are you saying you lied to us?
Dalton, the last meeting we had, you distinctly said Imogene was the mole, and she'd been dealt with.
Imogene is innocent. She played a vital role in helping us expose Ularu.
Do you even have any proof to back up this outrageous claim?
Of course we do. The malicious code you hid on this slate to upload incriminating evidence against Misako onto Lucas Drexler's computer.
To put it bluntly, Ularu, you're fired. Security will hold you in your office until a proper exit interview can be done.
This isn't right. I should at least have the opportunity to resign.
And allow you to still be marketable to a competitor? I don't think so. This may be news to me, and I will be reviewing the evidence closely. But this isn't something you just get to walk away from.
You're finished here, Ularu.
Security, escort Miss Chen to her office and see that she stays put.
You'll regret this. All of you.
I believe the only regret would be trusting you to begin with.
All right, back to business. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
Good. Alexis, start drawing up the necessary documentation. Anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up? If there's nothing else, this meeting is concluded. I'll be following up with a few of you shortly.
So much work to do.
With Infinity joining the fold, we have a lot of work ahead of us.
So, Infinity Ltd learned a lesson the hard way, and we exposed the traitor among us. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at Ryujin.
Thank you. That's quite a compliment coming from the CEO.
It's well earned and deserved. I truly appreciate the work you put into exposing Ularu. No operative has ever had to investigate our own to the extent that you did. I can imagine it may have been a lot of pressure, considering you were fairly new at the time.
Yes, I'm proud of you as well. Ularu needed to be brought down. If you wouldn't have stopped her, who knows what she would have done next.
Sarah, I thought I asked you to wait in downstairs. Whatever it takes to keep Ryujin on top.
My thought exactly. Imogene's instincts were right about you. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I hope you'll find it appropriate for all you've done. And I'm promoting you to senior operative. You've more than earned it.
Would you please give me the details on my new position?
As for the details, I think someone back on the operations floor would prefer to explain those to you.
Decent bonuses? Sarah? What are you doing here?
Happy to listen.
Not yet. I'm actually kind of miffed with you at the moment, Sarah. Give me a bit to cool down. I have other things I need to do. I'm a senior operative!
something you need? How's it going?
It's going great, Lane. I just got a promotion. So what's the latest news that you've heard?
I heard congrats are in order for you getting that deal pushed through. Masako's been after a partnership with Quantum for some time now. So you can be sure you're on a short list of favorites.
Thank you, Lane. Alright, need to talk to someone in operations. Is that who I think it is? Imogene!
You've certainly shaken things up around here. I still can't believe Ularu tried to frame me. An obvious misjudgment on my part. But now that's all in the past. It's time to get back to your typical day-to-day.
I've never been involved in the typical day-to-day. It's so good to see you back in the office, Imogen.
And I'd say it's good to be back if I hadn't returned to a mountain of paperwork. Now, since you were new, you've been dealing with people, but most of our assignments are generated on the mission board. The board holds any available assignments that our techs have pieced together, and I've approved. Questions?
So I don't get to deal with you anymore?
No, but try to see that as an improvement, since I certainly do. The mission board is more efficient for both of us.
So what's a mission board?
Well, after this conversation, you can head up to your office and see for yourself. Just think of it as a computer that lets you pick and choose your assignments at will, rather than having to deal with me all the time.
I've never seen it as having to deal with you, and I have an office? What kind of assignments are these?
Nothing you aren't already familiar with. You experienced the majority of what we do here during your training, if you recall. Uploading a few files, manipulating a narrative or two, obtaining schematics, it's just more of the same.
Alright, well then I'm good.
Good. The mission board is generally self-explanatory anyway. With your promotion, you've earned yourself an office, so whenever you're ready, you can find your own personal mission board inside. And the best perk of them all, you're free to make your own hours. Oh, and congratulations, of course.
Thanks, Imogen. I'll see you around then.
We certainly will. Go check out the board, and if you have any questions, I suppose I can start up an open door policy. Just for you.
I have an office? That would be a nice weapon if it wasn't a Grendel. Apparently I have a weapon rack with Grendels on it. My office. And a kilo. Things at Hope. Plant another Octavice at Hope Tech? Interesting. Heck, I'll accept all of these.
Don't wander into any restricted areas.
Yuko is on this floor as well, right?
Testing my patience. Give it back.
I didn't take it, I was just looking at it. I was going to try to take it to...
You're lucky I don't feel like doing paperwork today.
What? All I did was touch a sculpture.
Pace yourself, but make it a fast one.
This intel could blow a whole operation out of the water. I've got my eye on you.
You clearly have your eyes in your skull where they belong.
I'm not gonna miss Ularu. I can still see that smug look on her face.
Follow me. Let's talk somewhere more private.
Don't cause any trouble.
Imogene told me she hired another operative. Welcome to the team. I'm April.
What's it like having Imogen as a boss?
It's great, as far as I'm concerned. I have a lot of respect for Imogene.
So do I.
She's not afraid to take what she wants. And hates paperwork as much as I do. But what I like the most? She trusts us to get things done. None of that micromanaging crap. I'm headed into the field again soon. Wish me luck.
Luck. Oh, this is my office. There she
Try
is.
not to harass my techs too much. They have work to do.
I won't.
I don't have time for distractions.
Oh, sorry, Yuko. Just wanted to check in with you. You have some nice things in your office. I need to get some nice things for my office. I just like saying that. My office.
A gala at the New Atlantis Free Star Embassy. Would be a good way to gather intel.
Hey there.
Any news, Lane?
What's not news today? Imogene exonerated? Ularu off the board for trying to set up both Imogene and Masako? Last mistake she'll ever make. Masako will make sure of that.
Indeed. Alright, have a good one, Lane. I don't know what she was doing at the executive offices. Alright, Sarah, let's get going.
Those tricky decisions regarding Ryujin must have been difficult. In fact, I'm amazed you were able to deal with them at all. Those types of corporations remind me why I never ventured into business. I can't stand that way of life.
Let's talk about this later, Sarah. We have other things to move on to.
Sure. Let me know when you have the time to talk. Handling those tricky
No, I need you to come with me.
Ryujin must have been difficult. In fact, I'm amazed you were able to deal with them at all.
Why are you forcing a conversation that you're not going to like?
Remind me why I never ventured into business. I can't stand that way of life.
Not all corporations are as immoral as you make them out to be.
Oh, really? Well, let's examine that statement a bit more closely, shall we? Take what Ryujin's doing, for example. Based on your recommendation, they'll be continuing their work on the NeuroAmp technology. How exactly does that absolve them from their immorality?
It's a possibility. Someone is going to do it at some point, and best to have a responsible corporation like Ryujin take care of it. I don't need your approval to make corporate decisions, Sarah. You may be my partner in many ways, but you are not employed by Ryujin, and I am.
Yes, I can see that. Your actions have made that painfully clear. But imagine that technology in the wrong hands. Imagine the awful things you could force people to do. It's almost too horrible to contemplate.
And that's why it needs to be kept in the right hands. I'm sorry, Sarah. I should have thought of the repercussions.
Well, with any luck, perhaps Ryujin will come to its own senses one day and realize what they're doing is wrong. All we can do for now is pray that I'm right.
Okay, are you ready to go now?
I need something. I've got your back.
Alright, let's get moving.
Sure, I'm right behind you.
Don't know why you felt the need to have a fight, but whatever. And to see what's next for Victor and Sarah? Wedding bells, I think? You'll have to tune in to the next episode of Starfield, Interplanetary Diplomacy, starring yours truly, some guy you've never heard of, as the newest senior operative at Ryujin Industries, Mr. Victor Gabriel.